Good morning, and thank you for joining us on After GMS. I'm Tracy McCain here with Sydney Moore and meteorologist Christian Morgan.
Morning.
Well, good morning to the both of you. Christian.
Sydney.
A little chilly this morning. My goodness. I literally, that's what we do now. I'm like, Christian. He's like, Sydney. All love.
Give it to me straight.
And so it was really chilly this morning. Woke up, had to brace myself, but I was very happy because I know that it's going to get a lot warmer these upcoming days.
There is a light at the end of the tunnel, right? Down to 33 degrees this morning. That was our low and likely will be our last frost of the season. So Tracy, I know you're excited you can put away your winter clothes now. Put away your winter clothes now. Yes, cold this morning, but we're going to warm up quite nicely. Look at all of this beautiful sunshine we have. If you take a live look over downtown High Point, also notice on that sky camera how green things are getting, of course, as a result of all the pollen that we've had lately, and it is still bad. 57 was the number yesterday. That was our high. Average high right now is 72. 35 yesterday morning, 49 being the average low when we were actually a little bit cooler than that this morning. Got down to 33 in Greensboro, and we've already started to bounce back now. 35 in Greensboro, 34 Winston-Salem, 34 in Asheboro and in Lexington too. At the freezing mark, 32 Burlington, 32 Reedsville, 33 in Walnut Cove, 32 in the Wilkesboros, and low 30s up in the mountains as well. Notice across the southeast, we have plenty of cool air, but look out to the west. All of the warmth building, and that'll be the same story, just kind of a precursor to what's about to happen for us here in the Piedmont. High pressure largely in control of our weather now, and as it sits just overhead, that's why we don't have any clouds in the sky, and that's why our winds went calm overnight. Those two things combined helped to really lead to a fast cool off. So that's why we were able to get all the way down to 33 last night in the Piedmont. Of course, over the course of the next 24 to 48 hours, that high is going to move offshore to our east. That allows us to get more of a south and southwesterly wind, which, yes, will warm us up some. And there's a little disturbance that'll swing by the Piedmont going into tomorrow. Doesn't bring any rain, just does bring us a few extra clouds, mainly for your Thursday morning. And then we have more sunshine by your Thursday afternoon. There is a bit of a front on the way. It tries to get close to us, but has no luck or no success doing so. And that front will keep the cold air locked into the north and keep us on the warm side of things to the south. Notice what I'm showing you here is the upper air pattern. So as all the weather forms well above our heads, this is what we're looking at. And notice over the next few days, as that high moves offshore, we get this little mountain looking feature, or what we call a ridge of high pressure in meteorology. And so that really just allows all of this warmth from the south to freely move into the Piedmont. And typically, when you have it really warm in one part of the country, it's going to be cooler in the other part of the country. It's how the jet stream and how weather moves across the country. So notice as we get warm, we're in a ridge of high pressure across our area and across the southeast by Saturday. Notice what's happening off to the north and to the west. Things are much cooler for those folks. And of course, the weather and the atmosphere is always trying to balance itself out. So yes, eventually we get back to some slightly cooler temperatures, but we should stay pretty close to average. 73 is the average high right now, by the way, if you're keeping up. 65 today, 70 tomorrow, 80 Friday, 82 Saturday, and 84 on Sunday. And yes, with it being warm and with it being dry, the pollen is still bad and disrespectful, honestly. It gets a little bit better as we get into May. Typically, tree pollen is peaking right now, and it is typically the worst at this time of the year. For today, it's cold this morning, so bundle it up with a nice jacket. Beautiful by the afternoon with highs in the mid-60s. It's not windy today, not like it was yesterday. Overnight clear skies as we drop back down into the low 40s here in the Triad. Low and mid-40s back in the western counties and foothills as well, and there will be again some cloud cover Thursday morning, but we don't see rain for a while. Really until early next week. Next Tuesday looks like our next chance at any rainfall at all. So we continue on a dry 7-day forecast. Plenty to pick out here. If you can't find something you like out of this, maybe we should have a different conversation, and maybe that should be with a different person. 65 today, 72 tomorrow, 80 Friday, low 80s over the course of Saturday. We may get into the upper 80s by Sunday and Monday, which is a little bit warm, a little warmer than it should be this time of year.
I love it. I love everything about it. I even love today because I know after today, my winter coat will get the well-deserved hibernation that it needs. Yes, exactly. Just like the bears, my coat will hibernate.
Just like the Bears.
Just like the Bears.
Yeah.
Not the Chicago Bears, but Bears.
It even though, so seriously, if you like it cooler than today's your day, if you like it warmer, like Ed Matthews weather is like this weekend, right, with it in the low 80s. But even though it may be a little cool for some folks, this afternoon is still very pleasant, especially when you're in the sunshine. It feels a little bit warmer.
I'm a high 70s type of girl. So.
See, now today is perfect for me. Mid 60s, lock it in, baby.
All right. Well, between the wedding dress, the venue, the decorations, food, and more, weddings can really rack up a hefty price tag. According to the Not an Online Wedding publication, the average cost for a wedding in 2021 was $28,000.
Yeah, but get this. A couple in California was able to wed and celebrate their big day for just $500.
Wow.
Yes, I know you're wondering, how in the world did they do that? Okay, so here's one way. The couple asked their guests to purchase their own meals and drinks. That brings us to this question. How do you feel about weddings where you have to buy your own food and drinks?
While you share those responses, let's get to the couple's big day. So Joel and Kiara Broken Bro did not want to go broke by getting married, so they got creative. According to the LA Times, they set up their ceremony on a scenic turnoff on Angeles Crest Highway back in February. The bride, Kiara, says she bought her dress from Shein, that's an online clothing store. Those who don't know, she got the dress for less than $50. So the couple says they only invited about 30 to 40 relatives and close friends and asked them to pay for their own food and drinks, which they had no problem doing. The couple said they also called in a lot of favors from friends to buy the cake and flowers. Well, there's no question this story about a $500 wedding is going viral on Twitter. One person said they love the idea of that $500 wedding, but don't invite me if I gotta buy you a gift and pay for my own food. Another wrote, I think their $500 wedding was beautiful and well put together for the budget, but it should not be used to put down others who choose or has chosen to do more for their memorable day. And this person says, I like that idea of the cheap $500 wedding. It was smart. And another user wrote, that couple that spent $500 on their wedding, they're going to be married forever. Marriages like that last a lifetime.
Know how to use that money wisely.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you, look, from somebody who goes to a lot of weddings, and specifically because I play a lot of weddings.
You just came from one Easter weekend.
Yeah, I was just in one over Easter weekend. I can tell you it did not cost $500. It was more expensive than that. Actually, the suit I'm wearing today I got for the wedding.
It's very nice.
Whole different side story there. But as somebody who goes to a lot of weddings because my band plays a lot of weddings, I'm gonna tell you what, it is hard to do a wedding for $500 because I know how much we cost and I know how much, catering is so expensive, and every little thing in these venues, if you rent a venue, cost. Like, you have to, like a lot of places we play, you have to rent the venue. But if you rent the venue, it's one price. But you also then have to pay extra on top of that for chairs and tables. And then you have to pay on top of that for tablecloths and chair cushions. And so, and a lot of these places require you, if you book the venue, okay, well, if you're going to use our venue, if there's going to be food, then you have to pay an, X amount fee, minimum fee, for food, and it has to come from our vendors. So like these venues and the places, they know how to get the money out of it. So you're not just getting the venue, every little piece costs.
Yeah, and I think what their point is that the wedding probably cost more than $500, but they only paid $500 because they called in favors from family and friends. They also, bought a wedding dress for under $57 by going to a discounted website, and they decided to have it outdoors and had a $10 permit to get, the location. So they, were frugal where they needed to be, but
really
like
frugal.
Flowers and the cake and, you saw a drone video.
Oh yeah.
That's not, that's not inexpensive.
Right.
That costs money.
That's calling in some favors.
That's when friends and family come in. And, when family loves you so much and you ask and you're like, hey, listen, don't get me a gift. If you would just do this as my gift, I'm sure a lot of people would do that. I've done that for people before and said, you know what, I'll pay for your makeup. I just did that with a friend the other day. I arranged her makeup person and stylist to do her and her wedding party, and I gave her
that's
that
cool.
as a gift.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was so appreciative because she wouldn't have been able to afford it otherwise.
And family and friends, they just want to see you happy.
They do.
Yeah.
And we're asking you, how do you feel about weddings that require you to pay for your own food and drinks? And we have several comments right here. Bobby says, I probably would, considering the cost of everything these days. LOL. Robin says, my wedding cost $350, but that was over 45 years ago. Very nice.
I have a question. If I'm paying for, is the food good? I've been to a lot of weddings where there's some really good food, and I've been to some weddings where some really bad food, and I would just have rather brought my own or got something when I
Oh,
left.
wow.
Yeah, I feel like it's either hit or miss.
If the food's good, listen, I don't mind paying for food, whether it's a wedding or if it's good food, I will pay for it. It's one of my favorite things in the world is to eat. And food. So I don't mind paying for it, but it better be good if I'm paying for it. Like, is this a situation where it's there already and you just have to pay for your plate? Like, you know, you can do it a couple different ways. Like, hey, we're going to have this, and we're going to have this. Maybe send your money when you RSVP. You know, if that's the case, like, I just want to know what's going to be there. Is it going to be good or not?
Yeah. I don't know. I would have to assume it's probably good, but it's one of those questions we'll never know the answer to. The thing that it's really interesting when you think about it, you know, it's not usually the ceremony that costs a lot of money unless you put a lot of flowers and decoration into it. I mean, you can usually get your officiant for, you know, a few $100 or, you know, a really good price. But the reception is where all the money
It's where all the
flows
stops are
in.
pulled out.
Exactly. Thinking about the decorations, the DJ or band, as you say. Does it cost more for a band or a DJ?
Oh, it costs more for a band.
I would think so because it's several members, right? So
Like my band, for instance, is 10 members.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Like, where
And
there's
all
10
10 of
of
you
us.
played at the wedding you were at over the weekend?
No, I was just in that one. That was
Okay.
just my buddy getting married.
Right.
Yeah, there's 10 of us, and then, you know, if you get the band, well, you also add the crew with it. So when we travel, there's really 14 of us that travel.
Because you have lights and
Right.
sound checks.
Yeah.
Lights and sound.
Are you also the MC of it?
My brother actually handles the MC duties because I play drums, so I'm in the back, and he's on keyboard, so he's in the front.
Okay.
So he handles that.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
and you know, a lot of times, and honestly, you know, we try to make it as easy for
Right.
them and as cost effective for them. Like, you know, we have a cost that we cost, but if you want to add, you know, a lot of times people say, well, we have a reception musician or we have a band for the reception, but we also need music for the ceremony and we need music for the cocktail hour. And instead of going so many different places to get that, you know, a lot of times we say, hey, well, we can provide this for that or whatever. So a lot of times people are able to save money on, you know, that end of the thing if they book kind of an all-in-one package.
Now, the thing that will get me if it comes out later, they spent like $20,000 on their honeymoon. I'm gonna be like, what?
All right.
But I don't know that. I'm just saying.
But maybe that's what they did this for. Maybe they said if we
Exactly.
can get out
Save it
cheap on the
for.
wedding, we can really
Do
go
an
to town.
extravagant
Or
type
buy a
of-
house. I mean, think of
Yeah.
all that money. If you're like, people are paying $40,000 for weddings.
Yeah, it's insane.
I mean,
Crazy.
you could put all of that money into a house or your future children's expenses or
Yeah.
College for your children.
paying off your college, your own college
Yeah.
loans and, you know, looking ahead to them. There's so much you could do with that money.
Yeah.
All right, so we did hear from a few more people who were saying, you know, I maybe not the food, but I would pay for the drinks, is what.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
think
and you
that
know, a
was
lot
our
of people are
Brian.
doing now, not necessarily just paying for all of it, but hey, you get like 1 or 2 drinks, and then the rest of it is cash. You know, a lot of people do that, you know, because
Get 2 tickets.
right, and then the rest of it is on you. So I mean, that's not crazy.
No, I've definitely have heard
Yeah.
of that before, where you have to do that. But someone said, LeVar said, $40,000 for a wedding. Wow, I'm serious. Like that, like people will pay that much for a wedding. Robin wanted you to answer what type of music you play.
Oh, sorry, Robin. We play a little bit of everything. Beach, dance, funk, classic rock,
Nice.
top 40, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, a little bit
R&B?
of everything.
A little bit of R&B,
R&B in
a little bit of
there?
R&B, a little Motown.
Yeah. Walter said in '94 he got married at the courthouse with his wife and super happy. And our Brian said that was priceless. My brother did the same thing. So there are definitely options where you don't have to spend money, right? you can definitely do whatever your heart desires, but I think it's what your heart desires.
Yeah.
You know, letting somebody else dictate what you should do is not the way to go. Make sure it's what you want to do and how much you want to spend, and it includes all the things that you want for your day.
After all, it's the couple's
It's
special
your
day.
day.
And everybody's path, everybody's idea of happiness and what they envision for their life or for their wedding or for their future, husband or wife, that's all, that's everybody's own different thing.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so this is actually a good conversation because I'm having a birthday party coming up in July, and I was talking to the owner of the painting place where I'm gonna hopefully have it, and she said, oh, it's $30 a person to paint and sip, and I'm like, okay, if I have 20 people, that's 30. I'm like, that's $600. That's $600
a lot.
that I would have to pay, and I'm like, maybe I could ask my guests if they would pay like $15,
Right.
and then I would pay like the other, because I don't want to invite people somewhere where they have to pay money, but at the same time, like, it's my birthday.
Right.
Why would I pay $600?
Well, like it's, you used to have, so I don't know if I ever actually I never had a skating rink party, but I had tons of friends who had skating rink parties, and you would go, and my friend's mom or family, would provide like food. They'd have
Food and
pizza or
everything.
something.
Because they have those party rooms.
Right, right. But my parents would pay for my skates and that kind of stuff.
Oh,
for that
see,
day.
we just had a jump place party for Josiah and Julian, and we paid for all of their friends. Well, actually, it was just Josiah's friends because Julian doesn't have many. So we lucked out on that one. But yeah, they all jumped, and they all had to get socks and all this stuff, and then we paid for the party room. But it still wasn't $600. So
Jeez.
Yeah.
I was like, Mama's party is costing a little too much. I may have to 10 guests.
You need a band. You need a band.
No.
You know where to
we're gonna play the radio. Well, 102 jams up in there.
Okay.
All right, let's get to your morning headlines here before our second conversation. A great way to honor a former Guilford County commissioner. A portion of Bragg Street in downtown Greensboro will be renamed Carolyn Coleman Way. The Greensboro City Council approved the name change last night. Carolyn Coleman Way now stretches from Martin Luther King Jr. Drive to South Elm Street. Guilford County Commissioner Coleman was a civil rights trailblazer who served on the commission for nearly 2 decades. She died in February. She was 79 years old. Greensboro City Council also approving several items to fund construction of a new water tower at the Greensboro-Randolph mega site. It cost $2.5 million for the first phases of construction. Another $21 million to extend water and sewer lines to the site. It's not clear how long this will take, but Toyota does want to have the facility up and running by 2025.
Well, the council also approved just over $1 million to upgrade safety features at Greensboro police facilities. They include new fencing, security cameras, and lighting. The money will come from federal COVID relief money. And there's a new opportunity in the Triad for aspiring construction workers to kickstart a new career. The Triad Goodwill has partnered with Tiny House Community Development to offer a construction certification program. Our Denise McMiller is in Greensboro with how the program gives participants the skills they need to enter and be successful in the industry.
This is a hybrid program. Students will learn some things in the classroom and then put them into action right here at the Tiny House Community Development's workspace off Westgate City Boulevard. And the great thing about this program is there is no experience needed, just interest in the construction industry.
You can slide out of it.
Scott Jones with Tiny House Community Development is passing along his toolkit of knowledge on home building
Same thing with the,
at no cost to a small group of interested students.
I say, this is your harness for the day.
20-year-old Barkley Wheeler is soaking it all in so he can lay the foundation for his future.
My future goals is to hopefully go into HVAC, be an HVAC technician, learn more about that, and get as much knowledge as I can in.
He's one of 3 students enrolled in an 8-week construction trade certificate program. It's being offered for free through a partnership with Triad Goodwill and Tiny House Community Development.
It's good knowing that I don't have no student loans or nothing. I ain't gonna be in debt or nothing. It's a free class. Learning, something to learn. You never know what you might want to do.
Jason Norris is over Triad Goodwill's development department. He's promising each graduate employment.
I've got relationships with construction carpentry companies in the area,
Tiny Houses has a ton of connections in that field as well. Between the both of us kind of tackling that issue of job placement, hopefully we'll have more than enough jobs for the students.
The National Center for Construction Education and Research certificate will give participants national recognition in the industry.
That field is so broad. I mean, you've got pipe layers, pipe fitters, HVAC, carpentry. There's a lot of industries that they can get into with that NCCER certification.
According to Indeed Job Search, annual earnings for entry-level construction positions in North Carolina are between $48,000 and $52,000.
With construction and really with every industry right now is they need people, they need workers.
And again, very minimal requirements. All you have to do is be 18 years of age or older. The next session begins May 10th.
All right, so this next conversation, very on brand for our crew here on After GMS. And we know you love to talk about food just as much as we do.
Oh, yes.
Well, today is National Pineapple Upside Down Cake Day right here behind me. We want to know, what's your favorite cake?
While you type in your answers right here on our feed, we have a few fun facts to share about this wonderful day. So in the 1800s, pineapple upside down cake was called a skillet cake because it was commonly baked using a cast iron skillet, not in the oven, but on the stovetop. Ovens were not reliable or common during that time. And something else you might not know, the first upside down cake did not include pineapple. People used apples and cherries, which are native to the U.S. and found in just about every state. So according to what'scookingamerica.net, Jim Dole, founder of the Dole Company, started manufacturing canned pineapple in 1901.
A few of you shared your favorite flavor cake with us. Gilbert says Southern Supreme Fruit Cake, warmed a little bit. Yes, my mom would agree with you. She loves her cake warmed. Well, one viewer says cheesecake is my favorite with strawberry topping. Another viewer says my favorite cake is pineapple. Well, I know you love this day then. Rhonda says love, love, love German chocolate cake.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And a lot of people here are sharing their favorite cake. Jen says red velvet with cream cheese icing. And Christian says, I love cake.
Just let me have all of it.
Pamela says German chocolate is my favorite cake. And LeVar says carrot cake for me.
Ooh.
I think Brian said pound cake was his favorite as well,
Pound
too.
cake is good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with cake. I mean, how could you like one over the other? I just love them all. I forgot about red velvet though. Red
Yeah.
velvet's great. And then it's not even necessarily the cake part, it's the frosting.
The frosting,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
I wasn't even thinking about the carrot cake. I love a good carrot cake.
That has
Yeah.
a different
Man.
frosting too.
Yeah, it does. So I come from a line of family who doesn't cut any corners when it comes to cooking. And every time I talk about something that my grandma or my mom have made, I get in trouble on here because somebody watches this and then they call them and say, I heard about this, I want one of these. And so my mom makes a really great German chocolate cake and an Italian cream cake that she makes from scratch. And then my grandma, as we get into summer, she usually does it in spring and summer. She makes a key lime cake.
Yum.
Oh, it's so good. It is so good.
You know
Have to
that I
bring some
love
back.
cakes with like bananas on them.
Ooh.
Like any
Oh,
type
okay.
of fruit, but
But a banana
bananas
cake would be good.
so good. And I would never have eaten a banana cake before, but I went to Cheesecake Factory and I had a cheesecake with bananas on top, and I was like, oh
How
my
was it?
gosh,
Yeah.
it's so good. And I wasn't expecting it, but I tried it. It was amazing, and then I went home, found recipes for cake, like banana cake,
Yeah.
and I was like, I kept finding like banana bread recipes. And I'm like, no, I want
Cake.
That.
banana cake. Yes. So it was delightful.
I've had, I think maybe like one banana cake before, but the one I had was really good because it was really moist. You know, it had bananas in the icing and in the
Yeah.
frosting on it. It was
So
so good.
sweet.
So sweet.
I love anything sweet.
And Carol says chocolate cake with peanut butter icing. I have never had a peanut butter icing. Have you?
sounds
Oh,
good.
yes.
It does sound good. I've never
That
heard
sounds
of it.
awesome.
I've never tried it, but anything. I love peanut butter, especially on ice cream.
I've had it's a chocolate pound cake with a caramel icing on top too, which is really good.
And this is why I was sneaking and eating my breakfast right before this segment, because I knew after the segment I'd be like, my stomach would be
Mouth-watering.
torn up because I'd be so hungry.
Hungry.
So now I feel good. I feel like I made the best decision. 'Cause normally I am.
Sean says Black Forest cake. Have you heard of that, Christian?
I have heard of that. I'm trying to remember what all's in it. I have heard of it.
Okay.
Dana said goes into the kitchen to eat pound cake.
Just sneak
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
There's no, inappropriate or appropriate time to have cake. It's 24/7 a day, 7 days a week,
All the time.
365.
All the
And
time.
even a nice day to, eat some cake would be going outside, because this week would be a great week to do that.
You can do anything you want to do outside. You can eat cake, you can eat ice cream, you can do whatever you want to do outside. Because we do have some beautiful weather on the way as we go into the end of the week. 60s this afternoon after a cold start this morning, I know. But it'll get better this afternoon. Pretty pleasant, honestly, to be outside. Down to the 40s overnight, 70s for your Thursday, 80 again by Friday. We're in the low 80s for your Saturday. We have a good chance, bless you.
Sorry, thank you.
Pollen. We have a good chance to get into the mid and upper 80s as we go into Sunday and into Monday of next week, and it ain't gonna rain for a while. How about that? Not until next Tuesday. That's really our next, at least, chance for rain, and that, to me, right now, it doesn't even look like a huge soaker, but of course, that's still about a week away. Keep tabs on that for you. For now, enjoy the quiet week of weather that we do have. Find something you like in the 7-day forecast, a little something for everybody.
Very nice.
Yes, I will be looking forward to tomorrow, especially because it's right in that range.
Yeah.
But this weekend this will be our first warm weekend.
It's going to be a pool weekend. The water's still chilly, but it'll be a good day. It'll be a good weekend to lay out.
We are going to a derby party on
Oh,
Saturday.
nice.
That'll be fun.
I got my hats and my outfit ready to go.
Take pictures.
Got my husband a little seersucker with a hat. I can't believe my
yes.
husband's going to wear it.
I want to see pictures of y'all.
Oh, definitely. We got this. We got you don't even have to request it. It's going to happen. But
Good.
yeah, we're so excited. And with the weather, we'll be able to go outside and do some, patio juleps.
Very
Love that.
nice.
Juleps.
Well, I hope you have a great time.
Yeah, I'm
So
excited
much
about
fun.
it.
That'll
So
be
the
fun.
weather's perfect. Derby. Okay, we have had a great time with you here, and we are hungry. So we're going to take this moment to grab something to eat, but we'll check you out here tomorrow for After GMS, 7:45, as always, on the News 2 Facebook page.
See you then.
care.